and welcome back to the Overjump podcast. And today we're going to have another Motocross edition, so nothing to do with motocross, well, not directly. So today I had Greg Cawley on the show, and he runs Brikman Yoga here in Toowoomba. I've been going there for a little while now, just working on my flexibility and strength to get better at my bike riding. But what I've also noticed being there is that I've gained a better clarity in my mind, and as we all know, when it comes to riding your bike, it's a lot of things. It's your body, it's the people around you, and it's also your mind. And I'm trying to put it in a bit of perspective on the conversation where I think about it as a puzzle, and obviously the main goal is to be great at riding your bike, and that is the complete puzzle. But for one puzzle piece to fit, you also have to have the other little bits of the puzzle. So for me, going to yoga the last few months has been one of those pieces to the puzzle, and I definitely feel like it's been helping. So been going to the classes for a while, and then hearing Greg's story while I've been at the classes, just little bits and pieces, it just intrigued me to want to know more. So I got him on the show today, had a bit of a chat, and maybe you'll learn something about yoga that you didn't know, and maybe even get you interested to come and do a class one day. So without further ado, over to the show.
Hey, I got it. Got what? I got record. Oh, wow. Put it on. Do what? Friday already?
Yeah, so I jumped on and had a listen to the other one. Oh yeah, you just have to keep that like about a fist from your face kind of thing. Yeah, you can move all that. Whatever you want. Got it? Yeah, it sounds better. Yeah, so yeah, that's better. Yeah, so I listened to your other podcast that you did and that, so that was pretty interesting. Like, how long ago did you do that?
Probably. Probably about July, I suppose. July, August, yeah.
Yeah, so fairly recent.
Yeah.
And you're just coming back into the year now, and you're getting ready to start the season with your yoga and that kind of thing. Like, have you learned things over the break that you're looking to bring into this year?
Probably not necessarily over the break. What I've learned probably more importantly over the last 12 months, because I've been working a lot on the business, and plus obviously, as you know, I'm doing some training in the US. But from the business perspective, I'm kind of trying to work out what it is that I'm providing for the customers.
Yeah, sure.
And when I first started, like I'm providing yoga, of course, that's what I do. But the reality is, I think I've come to the realization that I'm providing more than that. I'm actually providing a community you've got for guys, a place where they can go to get together, and yoga is one of the things they do. And that's one of the reasons why I've started having a beer once a month down at Bar Wonder.
Yep.
So just to continue that community thing. And that's also the reason why I decided to have done the trip to Nepal. So, there's 9 of us from the class who are all going to Nepal, and hopefully a few more.
Yep.
And it's just really creating more of a place of community. Because before you started coming along, about a year ago, I did a little questionnaire. You may have, I don't think you took part in that. And one of the things that I asked the question, I think it was something like, if there was something in your life you could change right now, what would it be?
Yeah.
And on a few of the answers were loneliness. And so, there's guys who get to 40, 50, whatever it might be, and obviously younger and older, who obviously, whether they've never married or they have been married, and they just feel isolated and a little bit lonely. So it kind of dawned on me that probably part of what I'm doing here is actually creating a good place of community where guys can get together.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that's definitely a big part of it. Like when I've been coming, I've done the 1 term, full term, and a little part of the term before. But yeah, I really enjoy that part of it too. What about we go back to the start? Yeah, what was the catalyst that made you follow this journey? Because it's been about 10 years or so. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started yoga pretty much 10 years ago when I was 49.
Yep.
I'm 59 now. So, you want me to recount that little story?
Yeah, sure. Go for it, mate.
Sure.
Yeah.
So back then, 2009, I think, 2010, global financial crisis was in full swing. And at that point, I'd been running my own manufacturing businesses for like 20 odd years back in New Zealand, and we went through really hard times there. Like I had 32 staff at one point. The place was booming. It was like completely out of control, but we were still making money because, despite all the inefficiencies, it didn't matter because there was work coming in out of our ears. And when the GFC hit, it just kneecapped us. The work stopped overnight, and we shaved our staffing levels from 32 to, I think it ended up like 8 in the end.
Yeah.
And so the income dropped, but still our debt was still there, as you can imagine, and nearly lost the business very close to. And right at that point, when it was at its worst, a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for a long time walked into my office, and I was talking to him about things, and I remember quite clearly I had my head in my hands, and I was shaking my head, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. And coupled with this, also going through really the beginnings of a marriage breakup. And anyway, he said to me, "You need to go to a course in Nepal. It's a personal development course, and it's in 3 weeks."
Yeah, just
yeah,
get on that.
3 weeks. You need to go. And I sort of shook my head and went, I love Nepal because I've been there before, but there's no way I can go. I haven't got the money or the time, and I sure as heck not going to be able to get that trip past my wife at the time. And so he went away, and then he just kept ringing me. He said, "You have got to go to this because you're at a real crossroads of your life." And I was in a real low emotional and mental state. Anyway, so he wore me down, and one time he rang me about a week before the course started. He rang me and got to go, and I went, "Okay, I'll go." So booked the tickets, and told my wife at the time. I go, "Oh, that was the biggest issue," and so I'm going anyway, and I need to do this. And so we went on this course, and it was 2 weeks in Nepal, and every day as part of the course, and I didn't know this at the time when I enrolled. I just knew that I was supposed to go on this, and I didn't know what it was for. We did yoga every morning. And I really liked it because it was hard. I found it really hard physically. I mean, I've always been quite fit and strong, but I've never been that flexible. But I found it challenging even strength-wise, and it was great for mental quietness. And so we did this every day for 2 weeks, and that included in the lowlands in Nepal, in little huts, and even up into the Annapurna ranges we were trekking. So we're doing yoga under these 8,000 metre mountains. It was just amazing.
That sounds amazing.
It's just amazing. And so I came back from that course with 2 things. I had a fair, clear plan of what I was going to do, and I executed that over the next 18 months, business-wise. And I just decided I'm going to keep going to yoga. So when I got back, I found a yoga studio, and I went to Brikman yoga, which is probably the most physically demanding type you can go to because it's in a hot room and it's power based, and it kind of appealed to me because it was like my mentality was things got to be really hard and you got to sweat.
Yeah,
it's got to be hard to be good for you, right? And so we did that for 3 years. Did 3 times a week, 3 years. And apart from the physical part of it, which was amazing, what I found is because things were still bad, even though I had a plan, I'd get to about halfway through each day and crave that 1 hour at the end of the day that I could go to yoga and get my mind quiet.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because, when things aren't going well, your mind goes into overdrive, you start telling yourself stories and you just spiral downhill. Well, yoga was the place I could break that chain. And while it didn't solve any of my problems, it gave me fuel so I could go again the next day. So refuel, yoga, go the next day, wait for the next one, refuel, and that's kind of really how I started, and that is really the realization of how that helped me get through such a difficult time as a guy at that age, with all my preconceptions of what yoga might have been, has been my driving force as to why to bring yoga to guys here in Toowoomba.
Yeah, absolutely. When you go back to the time where your friend was pushing you to go to that trip to Nepal, I understand, like, obviously he's a big influence to get you there. But then when you say you came back to New Zealand and then you continued, you almost jumped back in head first to do 3 times a week.
Mm.
Is that something like within you that you've always been someone to jump into things and like really take it by the horns?
Yeah, I've never done things by halves, really. You know, if I'm gonna run, I'm gonna run. If I'm gonna start walking, I'm gonna walk a marathon.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do a trek, it's gonna be the Everest Base Camp. You know, like if I'm gonna climb a hill, it's gonna be a really high mountain in Nepal. And you know, also I've jumped into my business life like that. I've bought businesses which I knew nothing about, and just through a lot of it's just sheer will and hard work, have been pretty successful most of the time, and nearly failed at that time as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty determined kind of guy, just always very committed to whatever I do.
Would you say you see that in the yoga community, like for what you've started? I mean, it's not like all these guys have got someone that's holding their hand and bringing them along. It tends to be like there are, well, from what I can see, the guys that do come are doing it on their own bat. You know, like that tends to be the type of personality that you've got coming to your classes.
I think there's a fairly big mixture of guys there.
Yeah.
Some guys are there because their wife told them to. You know, for example, if I'm ever at a social engagement and I'm speaking to one of the wives, and for the first time, and what do you do? I'm a yoga teacher. I take yoga for me. Oh, that's amazing. He needs to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's always the case. So there's definitely guys who are there because their wives told them they need to go. There's guys there who come as a result of a crisis.
Yeah.
Like normally it's a physical crisis. My back's gone, my knee, I can't solve my problem. Oh, well, I might as well try yoga. Last resort type thing, you know.
Yeah.
There's guys who inherently understand they don't understand it, but they know yoga's good for you, and they just want to be better. They feel better. So there's a whole range. But yeah, most of the guys, if I look at them, most of the guys are there, they're probably self-starters.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's probably not natural for a guy to walk in a yoga class, right? It's probably not, you know, it's not like on your list of 10 greatest things you could do in your life, like, you know, and be excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking into a yoga class for a bloke is probably not the easiest thing because of the preconceptions. It's full of ultra flexy female instructors and females in Lycra who are stronger and more flexible, and it's intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Most guys don't have an understanding of even what a yoga studio looked like. I didn't.
Yeah.
When I walked into the first studio when we went back to New Zealand, I didn't know. I just knew I had to go. You know.
You felt that calling to go back, and yeah.
I felt that it was something that was really good for me, and I needed to be doing it.
Moving on from there, like after you did that all that time in New Zealand, and then at some stage you come to Australia. How long did it take before you followed that path of getting something happening here? Was there anything that you did in New Zealand class-wise first, or was it all just basically here in Australia?
Well, the impetus of me becoming a teacher, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just went as a student in New Zealand, and I never had it on my radar of becoming a yoga teacher. The impetus was I sold my business. I met my partner Michelle, who I live with here in Toowoomba, about 6 years ago, and we've met in the States. And she did a lot of yoga, and she just said to me one day, you know, you'd be a really good yoga teacher. I was looking at her going, what, really?
Yeah.
Me? So it's just something that she planted in my mind, and when I sold my business, I had clean slate, didn't know what the hell I was going to do, knew I was moving to Australia, I'm an accountant by profession, so I thought I'd just go back into accountancy or maybe even buy another business here. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I didn't really want to do any of that stuff. Done it, had enough, sick of employing people, etc. So probably the first couple of years here, I did a couple of weird things. Like I went and did a course called Zentai Shiatsu, which is a body. It's a mixture of Zentai, Thai massage, Shiatsu, which is Japanese, and a couple of other modalities. And it's an on-floor body manipulation, and not massage, but similar.
Yeah.
So I did that for 9 months, and that sort of introduced me to body work, if you like. And I was extremely uncomfortable working in that environment because I'd never done anything like that. And the people that I was involved with were all totally different outside my paradigm. Yoga teachers, massage therapists, like totally different to me. But it kind of opened my mind up a bit. And we do yoga twice a day during those courses. It was nine modules for 4 days each over 9 months. And so we do yoga 8 times in 4 days, which was cool. I really loved that. And then just one day I was lying there and thinking, with this thing about yoga teaching percolating in the background, I'm sure trying to work out what I'm going to do with my life. And I just felt there were a couple of moves and I just couldn't move, and I felt like a brick and I couldn't move from it. So that's when I dreamed up Brikman yoga for bricks, which is a play on words of Bikram yoga. So I came out of that, said to Michelle, I've got the name for this thing. And so I got the name before I even trained. And then I decided to do a meditation retreat. There's a thing called Vipassana, and they hold it up in Pomona on the sunny coast.
Yeah.
It's 10 days silent meditation retreat. So you walk
How does that go for you?
Oh, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Like you go in, you give them all your worldly possessions, your keys, your phone. You can't even take a pen and paper in. So just you and the bedding in your room, and we do meditation for it starts at 5 in the morning and it goes right through the night at night.
Wow, that's pretty intense. Pretty intense for having nothing,
It's very intense. So you go into the hall and do your meditation, and might be 50 people there. And by the end there's probably 30 people there because 20 people have enough, they just can't handle it. Oh wow. Very, very, very challenging, but also really amazing. You learn a lot about yourself, and you clear a lot of stuff out of your subconscious. Your subconscious keeps trying to control your mind, and I certainly learned that we don't control our own minds. Our minds control us.
Yeah,
because even when I was trying to quieten down, it kept trying to keep control. And what happened is after 6 days, it was a 10-day retreat. I was just going crazy because I couldn't quieten my mind for any more than 30, 40 seconds at a time. I was just going nuts, and I packed a fit, and I went back to my room, and I was sulking in there, thinking, I'm going home. And I was really angry, and then I must have calmed down, and we went back into the night session. I was on. What I think that was, I think it was my mind realising it was losing control.
Yep.
Waging its last battle with me.
And you were breaking.
It would nearly break me, yeah. And it really was really interesting. I'm certain that's what it was, because after that, while there was no moments of magical meditation and clarity, there were more of it, and I just felt I was more in control suddenly. Anyway, long story short, through all of the things you think about, through all those hours of quietness and just connecting with your breathing, it became very clear to me that I had to go down this yoga track. So I walked out of the retreat and said to myself, I've just got to do this.
Yeah.
So that was November. I enrolled and trained, started my level 1 yoga teacher training in April, I think. Yeah, and that was probably 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the that self meditation thing, do you think, because that does tie into what you're doing with yoga as well, do you think that is a big part of what you're trying to teach now? Is that mind, meditation in the mind as well as the body?
To be honest, I'm not expert enough to be teaching meditation, but the meditation and the quietness in the yoga class is a really, really important part of it because it gives you peace. And if you're talking about men and mental health, it's a place you can go and you can be, like we've got a community with guys who really feel safe and comfortable, and you can just be quiet. And like you've heard me say it in the class, this is a moving meditation. So we're just trying to keep your mind quiet right through it, and we all fail, including me up front. You just do your best, and you get better at controlling your thoughts, and probably without your thoughts controlling you like they would normally.
Yeah.
So meditation is a very important part of it.
I absolutely feel that, busy days, at work, and then also taking on training, and then the club, motocross club side of things. That hour a week, I look forward to probably the most out of all my training as a time to reset for the rest of the week. I love coming and doing that side of it. It's really good.
See, it's probably not why you came, but it's probably what keeps you there to some degree, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I came to try and, like you said, to sort problems out in my body, movement issues and that kind of thing. But I feel like this has probably been the most beneficial part of it. Yeah.
And I think, that was certainly the case for me.
Yeah.
And I think if we did a survey of all the guys there, I would say it wouldn't be 100%. I know it's not 100%, but the large majority of them would find that they really enjoy those moments of peace.
Yeah.
And, there are guys within our classes who are going through stuff. And I can see it. And I talk to some guys. They come and talk to me after classes, and there's stuff going on. And often what happens is the yoga and the quietness brings stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely.
During a class, they might start feeling upset or vulnerable, and it's just the quietness and the ability to connect that helps you dread. If you don't get it out, it stays in.
Yeah.
And it's poison, right? For one of a better word.
Yeah.
You're better off getting it out.
I noticed that, if I have the thoughts coming up or I get sidetracked thinking about something, and then knowing that I've got to continue with the next movement, it's like, all right, next pose. It's like it almost, the movements are like chipping away at that problem or that thought until it just dissipates.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a point of focus, isn't it? The movement's the point of focus, but also what you're finding is you're now becoming aware of it, that you're in your thoughts.
Yeah.
Now, up to that point, you probably were in your thoughts all the time, and you had no awareness that you were there. So, and you can't change something unless you can't change something unless you're aware of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're a person that gets caught away in your thoughts and it's negative for you, unless you become aware that you're there, you can't change it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the great things about yoga. I think it brings awareness not only to your thoughts but to your body. I would suspect you're probably more attuned with how you feel in your knees and your back and all your injuries when you move in a certain way than you probably would before you started coming to yoga. Would be my assumption.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's getting better and better as well. And when I take that to the actual bike itself, the way I think about my movements on the bike, I almost play that against the way I think about my movements in the yoga class, like planning my next step and planning how I'm going to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that's probably the same for a lot of sports people too, who take yoga on. It's probably why it's very important for sports people to do that. Yeah.
Well, I did some work with the Toowoomba Grammar School football team, and I'd say to them that, if you can think about, about the mind quieting thing. If you can learn to quieten yourself down when things are really hectic, like in the middle of a game, and see things just a split second clearer because your mind is clearer, you're going to make a better decision and make a better action.
Absolutely.
And I would suspect, you're with what you do, you're split second changing, your body's changing all the time, and you have to keep making decisions right. So have you think you've found that you have more clarity of how you're going to operate when you're on the bike, or you feel that you've improved your performance?
Yeah, definitely. When I'm going out to ride, it's probably when it kicks in the most. It's like, okay, I've got 20 minutes. I know that I can keep my mind clear and on the job for an hour in a yoga class, 20 minutes is easy. And then it's almost like you can put your blinkers on and you're very task orientated at that time. So, it's a practice for me of, because you do strength training, cardio training, all that stuff. And then this is just the little piece of the puzzle, which is the mind. Which is where with everything you do in life, everything's a puzzle. And the funny thing about it is you have a puzzle with 10 pieces. So for every piece of that puzzle is another puzzle, Yeah. So you're always trying to put pieces together to take the next step. So that's just one extra part is the clarity from yoga for sure.
And like I would also, there's a lot of strength in what you do. Have you found that your upper body strength and your core strength's improved?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, probably just like the chain working was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Have you seen many other sports? Like, what's the most common sport that you see coming? I know you said you work with the football guys. Is there many other sports you see coming to yoga in your experience?
In a professional level, yeah, they're all doing it.
Yeah.
Like, my affiliation with the Kiwi is the All Blacks. The All Blacks are doing yoga. If you look at locally, the Brisbane Broncos have a yoga program. The Bullets, the basketball team, do. I think it's the Thunderbirds, the netball team. The AFL team, the Brisbane Bears, they're all doing yoga. They're all doing yoga at a professional level.
Yeah.
And there was a really good anecdote. I don't know if you follow football or English football?
Not really, no.
Okay. There's a guy called Ryan Giggs, and he played for Manchester United. And he played in Premier League right till he was 37, which is amazing. And he maintained that his longevity in the game was purely because he practiced yoga every day.
Yeah, sure.
And he was like 37 years old at that elite level. Is just amazing from an aerobic and physical fitness requirement.
Those are high profile personalities. Do you think they're going to break down the barriers for people coming into yoga now? Now it's so it's not like taboo or unmasculine now. If you see those kind of guys getting into it,
from a female perspective, no, because females naturally gravitate to yoga because they know it's good for them, right?
Yeah.
Because often a lot of females actually go to yoga when they're pregnant, do prenatal yoga to help them with childbirth and stuff. And then antenatal, but females understand it. Guys, the biggest issue with the guys, yes, there's a preconception. Yes, those high profile guys, taking on yoga is good. They still don't like walking into a yoga class full of females.
Yeah.
And as a generality. So to get the masses going, things have to change in that regard. It has to become. That's what I've tried to do. I've tried to create more of a blokey environment where guys don't feel intimidated and feel comfortable. And unfortunately, there's not a hell of a lot of male yoga teachers out there.
Yeah.
Like when I do training, when I did my level 1 teacher training, I was two males out of 20. I'm training in the States, I'm 1 out of 12. When I did my yin training down in Brisbane, I was 1 out of 15.
Yeah.
There's no other male teachers in Toowoomba, which is a real shame because I'd love to get, when I'm away, I'd love to get my another male teacher to take my classes.
Yeah.
So that's part of the issue, I think, from getting guys into yoga. They have to feel comfortable. They also have to realise that it's not about being super flexible. My philosophy for bringing guys to yoga is just to get them moving. Get their minds to shut up and get them moving.
Yeah. Then
we can get technical and do all these gnarly, lovely stretches and the weird positions and stuff like that. At some point, might be 5 years. I think I've told you in class, there's some of the things I do that taken me 9 years to even get close to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a hell of depends on what you've done with your body. So, blokes have to feel comfortable, and there's still that inherent thing with men, they don't look after their bodies very well, so they don't listen to the problems that they have, and therefore they soldier on. And yoga is as much a preventative thing as it is a thing which when they normally come at a certain crisis, the knee doesn't work anymore, or they've got a bad back, and that's when they decide to come.
Yeah.
Well, ideally they should be coming before that.
Yeah, I wish I'd come
As maintenance.
5 years ago.
We're terrible. Yeah. Guys are terrible at maintenance, which naturally are. So that's a big problem. But getting back to your question, do you think those high-profile people will change the audit? No, not necessarily, unless the classes become more accessible for guys.
Yeah, okay.
I don't believe so, anyway.
Yeah, well, that was definitely when I was looking around for yoga. There's a guy called Ryan Hughes who's an ex-motocross pro in the States, and then after his career, he became a trainer, and then that led to yoga and that kind of thing. And then he's a big promoter of yoga. So I was kind of following him, and then I was looking around, you do the Google search, Toowoomba yoga, and then it was very feminine based, and then that was one of the reasons why I came along to your class. It's like, it's pretty low key, it's going to be dudes similar mentality. So yeah, you're right. It's when you've got the class available, it opens up doors to go to it.
I mean, there's always going to be guys who are comfortable going to room full of females, and I was one of them just because I wanted to go. It didn't bother me at all. But there's also I know there's a lot of guys in that class who wouldn't be in a class unless it was a male-centric class.
Yeah. So,
I would like to get to the point at some point where I can expand and take Brikman yoga down to Brisbane, or who knows where else. But I've got to get my base better here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to try and get some more people to come along. That's the plan.
Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Tell us about what classes you got, because you're going to do a few different things this year. Like I've been doing the Wednesday night class, and you're going to make that a power class this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this year I'm going to have 3 men's only classes during the week. So it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. At Groom Park Hall in Neil Street, which is across the road from St Saviour's. On a Monday is more of an aerobic flow type workout, so we're going to be a lot of movements, a lot of on your feet down into planks and press up type things, or up dog, down dog, we call it. Very quite a physically demanding class. You get a real sweat up for that one. Wednesdays is going to be power only, and I'm basing that class around Bikram yoga's 26 poses.
Yep. And
Bikram yoga is a hot yoga, and he does the same poses every time, and it's based on power. And I've decided to make that the Wednesday class, so each Wednesday is going to be exactly the same. And the beauty of that is, and I know because I did it for 3 years, is you can really judge, you can see your progress.
Absolutely.
You can see you getting stronger, you can see you've got your leg up higher in that pose or whatever it is. So that's going to be our Wednesday. It's a power class, so it's pretty tough, but you've done that class, I think you probably quite enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And Thursday is going to be a mix of the Monday class, so movement and aerobic and movement. And the second half of that Thursday class is what we call yin, or long, slow, deep stretching. So we're holding poses for 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So we're down low, we're on the mat with eyes closed. Really, we might be stretching a hamstring or whatever it might be, whatever the pose is. So that's Thursday. I also take a mixed class on a Sunday at 5 p.m. at Mayhem Darts Academy in Foundry Street, which is deep stretching. So it's 1 hour of yin.
Yeah.
So 1 hour of, we might only do 7 or 8 poses, and it's just long, slow, deep stretching, really elongating the muscle.
Sounds like it hurts.
No, you should never hurt yourself. That is hard.
Yeah.
Doing nothing's really hard.
Yeah.
And it's one of the big challenges in that is keeping your mind quiet, because you're not moving much. As you said, you connect with, when you're quiet in your mind because you're moving, you don't move. It's really hard to keep your mind quiet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a challenge in that regard. I'm also thinking, because someone has said to me a midday class might often work well. I'm contemplating that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'd love some feedback on that, actually, if anyone has feedback. But I would introduce a midday class during the week for lunchtimes, and it's worked well otherwise, and it's only just come onto my awareness that could be an option I should take.
What kind of people do you think that would be targeted for?
Well, the guy I know who's taking classes like that, it's over 60s, retirees, people on shift workers, FIFO workers, and possibly self-employed people, builders, tradesmen, etc., who can just duck away for an hour and a half of total time, and just get the yoga on for an hour at lunchtime.
Yeah, it was quite a big demographic there when you think about it. Yeah.
It's just a matter of reaching.
Absolutely.
I just look at the tradies, like the builders, the plumbers, and the electricians. I haven't seen a builder who's at 40 with good knees or a good back or arms.
Yeah.
It's really good for those guys. And there's one guy in our class, I'm sure you're aware who he is. He's a builder, and he started coming last year. He's found huge benefits. He's touching his toes for the first time.
Oh, great.
He's feeling much better in his work, and he's loving yoga.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely loving it too, so I can't wait to get back into it this year.
Cool.
What about for people who want to get in contact with you? Like, how can they do that?
Okay. Well, I have a website, which is www.brikmanyoga.com.au, so brikman.com.au. All the information about classes is on that website. There's also some background of me, a bit of video of me talking, and also of the guys moving. So any information on there. Otherwise, you can give me a call on 04357 55033. What else? If you go on the website, there's an inquiry form as well. You can make an inquiry if you see something you're not sure. If you want to just come to a class, you can go to the website to the classes and buy passes section at the top.
Yep.
To the drop down, and you can go to the day you want to go. You can buy a casual pass, which means you can just come for that class, or you can invest in a term pass, which is 11 weeks, and that's $15 a class.
Yeah.
So it's $165 for a term, $20 for casuals, and you basically choose a day you want to come and what class you want to come to.
Yeah. Yeah. For those listening at home, it's really easy. So I just turned up with some cash and signed the form. So you can do that too, I suppose. You still going to do that this year?
Oh yeah, no. It's not rigid. Anyone wants to come and pay cash, that's cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, appreciate that. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. And Moto guys, get on it. Well, maybe we can fill the class of Moto guys.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'd really like to get these classes pumping. This is something I'm really passionate about, getting guys into yoga, because I just know with my own experience, if I hadn't gone to yoga, the consequences of me continuing down the road I've done from a mental perspective would not have been good. And as a result of me being in a bad place mentally, I was also in a bad place physically. Drinking too much and stuff. Yoga is, obviously I'm an advocate. Yoga has really been a major change in my life, and I'd really love to share it with a lot more guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks very much, Greg.
Cool, mate. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Awesome.